I married a woman with a teenage daughter and loved that kid like my own. 2 years later, she found messages that destroyed our family. What my wife did in our home while I was away got caught on camera. My stepdaughter chose me. Her mom lost everything. My name is Mike, and I'm 39 years old. I own an auto repair shop here in Phoenix, Arizona. I've been fixing cars since I was 16, worked my way up from changing oil to running my own business with 12 employees. I thought I had everything figured out. I thought I'd finally found my family. I was dead wrong. 4 years ago, I met Jessica at a customer appreciation barbecue I threw at the shop. She was 36, worked in marketing for a tech company, and had a smile that could stop traffic. We talked for 3 hours that day, sitting at a picnic table under the Arizona sun, drinking cold beer, and laughing like old friends. She told me she was divorced, had a 12-year-old daughter named Sophie, and was looking for something real, something stable. I'd been single for years. I dated here and there, but nothing ever stuck. I was married to my business, spent 60 hours a week at the shop, went home to an empty apartment. Meeting Jessica felt like a door opening to a life I'd always wanted but never thought I'd have. We dated for about a year and a half. Sophie was shy at first, which I totally understood. Her dad had left when she was 8, moved to California, sent child support checks but barely called. She didn't trust easily, but I didn't push it. I just showed up. I'd take them both out for dinner, invite them to Diamondbacks games, help Sophie with her math homework when she was struggling. I remember the first time Sophie called me by my name instead of my mom's boyfriend. We were at my shop on a Saturday, and I was showing her how to change a tire. She was 13 then, all elbows and attitude, wearing these beat-up Vans and a hoodie, even though it was 95 degrees outside. "Mike," she said, "can you show me how to check the oil too?" It was such a small thing, but it meant everything. She wanted to learn from me. She trusted me. I proposed to Jessica after 18 months. We got married at a small venue in Scottsdale, desert landscape all around us. Sophie standing next to her mom as the maid of honor. She wore a lavender dress and actually smiled in the photos. Real smiles, not the fake ones kids do when adults make them. I bought us a house in Ahwatukee, 4 bedrooms, a pool in the backyard because you need a pool in Phoenix if you want to survive the summers. Sophie got her own room, decorated it herself with posters of bands I'd never heard of, and string lights everywhere. Jessica loved the kitchen, said it was perfect for the dinner parties she wanted to throw. The first 2 years of marriage were the best years of my life. I'm not exaggerating. Jessica and I were solid. We had our routines, our inside jokes, our Friday date nights. But what really made it special was Sophie. That kid became everything to me. I'd wake up at 5:30 every morning, make breakfast for all of us. Sophie would stumble downstairs at 6:15, still half asleep, wearing whatever oversized t-shirt she'd worn to bed. We'd eat together, talk about her day, what she had going on at school. Then I'd drive her to North High School on my way to the shop. Those 20 minutes in my truck every morning, just the two of us, became sacred. She'd tell me about her friends, her teachers, the boys she thought were cute, but would never talk to. She'd ask me about cars, about business, about life. I started taking her to her soccer practices 3 times a week. Jessica worked late a lot, and Sophie needed a ride, so I'd close the shop early on Tuesdays and Thursdays, pick her up from school, and drive her to the fields near South Mountain. I'd sit in the bleachers with the other parents, watching her run up and down that field in the brutal Arizona heat. She was good, too. Fast, aggressive, not afraid to fight for the ball. After practice, we'd stop at In-N-Out, get burgers and shakes, sit in my truck with the AC blasting and talk about everything and nothing. She told me about her dreams of going to Arizona State, maybe studying sports medicine. I told her I'd help her with college, whatever she needed. She wasn't my biological daughter, but she was mine. I loved that kid like she was my own blood. On weekends, I'd teach her about cars. She was genuinely interested, which shocked me. Most 16-year-olds don't want to learn about engine repair, but Sophie did. She'd come to the shop on Saturday mornings, put on coveralls that were way too big for her, and get her hands dirty. I taught her how to change brake pads, how to rotate tires, how to read diagnostic codes. My employees loved her. They called her Mini Mike because she had the same focused expression I did when I was working on something complicated. Jessica seemed happy. She'd joke that she'd lost both of us to the auto shop, that we spent more time talking about cars than anything else. But she'd say it with a smile, and I thought she was genuinely okay with the bond Sophie and I had. I thought we were a family. A real family. Looking back now, I can see when things started to change. It was subtle at first. Jessica started working later. She'd text me around 6 or 7 p.m. saying she had a meeting that ran long, or a client dinner, or a project deadline. She worked in marketing for a software company downtown, so irregular hours weren't unusual. But it started happening 3-4 times a week. She started going to the gym more. She'd leave at 9 p.m., come home at 11, say the late-night classes were less crowded. She bought new workout clothes, expensive stuff from Lululemon. She started caring more about her appearance, getting her nails done every week, her hair colored every month. I didn't think much of it. I figured she was just taking care of herself, feeling good, maybe going through some kind of personal growth phase. I was proud of her, actually. She looked great, seemed confident. Sophie noticed before I did. She started making comments, little things that didn't register at the time. "Mom's gone a lot lately," she'd say when we were driving to practice. Or, "Mom got another new outfit," when Jessica would come home with shopping bags. I'd shrug it off. "Your mom works hard. She deserves to treat herself." But Sophie would get this look on her face, like she wanted to say something but didn't. I should have paid more attention. It all came crashing down on a Wednesday evening in March. I remember because it was Sophie's birthday the next day, and we were planning a surprise party for her. She was turning 16. Jessica was supposed to be out picking up the cake. I was in the garage working on my truck, changing the oil because I'd been too busy at the shop to do it during work hours. It was about 7:30 p.m., still light outside, that perfect Phoenix evening temperature before the night heat sets in. I heard the side door from the house open. Sophie came out, and I knew immediately something was wrong. Her face was red, streaked with tears. She was holding her phone in both hands like it was something dangerous. "Dad," she said, and my heart stopped. She'd started calling me Dad about 6 months earlier, just naturally, like it was the most obvious thing in the world. Every time she said it, I felt this overwhelming sense of pride and love. But the way she said it now, her voice cracking, made my stomach drop. I put down the oil filter and wiped my hands on a rag. "Sophie, what's wrong? What happened?" She walked over to me, her whole body shaking. "Dad, I need to show you something, but it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt really bad." "Show me what, kiddo?" She held out her phone with trembling hands. Mom left her phone on the kitchen counter. It was unlocked. I was going to ask her something, and I saw a text notification pop up. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I took the phone from her. The screen showed a text conversation between Jessica and someone named Derek. I didn't recognize the name. I started reading. "Can't wait for tomorrow night. Mike thinks I'm working late again. Your place or mine? Yours is safer. Sophie has practice till 8. Mike won't expect me home until 9. I love sneaking around with you. Makes it more exciting." I scrolled up. There were months of messages. Hundreds of them. They talked about meeting up, about hotel rooms, about how good it felt to be together. There were photos, intimate photos. Photos of my wife that were meant for someone else. I felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I couldn't breathe. My hands started shaking so badly I almost dropped the phone. 4 years. We'd been together for 4 years, married for 2, and she'd been doing this. Lying to my face, lying to her daughter. "Dad," Sophie's voice was small, scared. "Are you okay?" I looked up at her. She was crying hard now, wiping her face with her sleeves. This 16-year-old kid had just found out her mother was cheating. Had to be the one to tell me. Had to watch my world fall apart. I pulled her into a hug. She sobbed into my shoulder, her whole body shaking. "I'm so sorry," she kept saying. "I'm so sorry you have to know this." "Don't apologize," I said, my voice rough. "You did the right thing telling me. This isn't your fault. None of this is your fault." We stood there in the garage for I don't know how long, just holding each other while our family fell apart around us. I could hear the cicadas starting their evening song, could feel the heat still radiating from the concrete floor. Everything felt surreal, like I was watching this happen to someone else. Finally, Sophie pulled back and looked at me. Her eyes were red and swollen. "What are you going to do?" I thought about it. Every instinct in me wanted to drive downtown, find this Derek guy, and beat the hell out of him. Then come home and confront Jessica, throw her stuff on the lawn, change the locks. But I'd been running a business for 15 years. I knew you don't make major decisions when you're emotional. You make a plan, you gather information, you protect yourself. "I need proof," I said. "Screenshots aren't enough. I need undeniable proof." "What kind of proof?" "Video, audio, something that can't be disputed in court." Sophie nodded slowly. She was smart, that kid. Always had been. "What do you need me to do?" "First, we need to send these messages to my phone. Then you need to put her phone back exactly where you found it. Can you do that?" "Yeah." We spent the next 30 minutes in the garage, forwarding every message, every photo, every piece of evidence to my phone. Then Sophie went back inside and put Jessica's phone back on the kitchen counter, exactly where she'd left it. Jessica came home 20 minutes later with Sophie's birthday cake, acting like everything was normal. She kissed me hello, showed me the cake, asked about my day. I played along. I asked about work, about her meetings, about her day. The whole time I was screaming inside, but I kept my face neutral. I'd learned a long time ago how to hide what I was feeling. You don't run a successful business without learning how to keep your emotions in check. That night, after Jessica fell asleep, I stayed up until 3 a.m. researching surveillance cameras. Not the obvious kind, the ones people put on their porches. Hidden cameras. Nanny cams. The kind you can't see unless you're looking for them. I found one online that looked like a phone charger, just a normal USB charging block you'd plug into the wall. It recorded in 1080p, had motion activation, could store hours of footage on a micro SD card. It was perfect. I ordered it with overnight shipping. The next day was Sophie's birthday. We had the party, invited her friends over, ate cake by the pool, pretended everything was fine. Jessica was all smiles, taking photos, posting on social media about her beautiful daughter turning 16. I wanted to scream. I wanted to tell everyone there what she'd been doing, who she really was. But I didn't. I played the role of the happy stepdad, the proud father figure. Sophie played along too, but I could see the pain in her eyes every time she looked at her mother. That night, after everyone left and the house was quiet, Sophie came into the garage where I was cleaning up. "I can't do this," she said. "I can't pretend everything's okay." "I know," I said. "But we have to. Just a little longer. Until we have everything we need." "How much longer?" "The camera arrives tomorrow. Then we set the trap." She looked at me with those eyes that were way too old for 16. "What's the trap?" "I tell your mom I have to go out of town for a few days. There's a big auto show in Vegas next week that I go to every year. I'll tell her I'm going early, need to network, meet some suppliers. She'll think the house is empty except for you, and you have practice most evenings. She'll bring him here." "To our house?" Sophie's voice was filled with disgust. "Yeah, to our house, and we'll catch them." The camera arrived Friday afternoon. It looked exactly like a regular phone charger, the kind you see plugged into walls everywhere. I put it in the living room, plugged into an outlet next to the entertainment center. It had a perfect view of the couch and most of the room. I tested it with my phone, made sure the angle was right, made sure it was recording. It was invisible. Unless you knew it was there, you'd never notice it. That weekend I told Jessica about the trip to Vegas. "The auto show isn't until Thursday," she said, looking at me over her coffee cup. We were sitting at the kitchen table Saturday morning, sun streaming through the windows. "I know, but I want to go early. There's a supplier I need to meet with. Might be able to get a bulk discount on parts if I meet him in person. Could save the shop thousands." She nodded. "When would you leave?" "Monday afternoon. Be back Friday morning." "That's a long time." "I know, baby. I'll miss you. But it's good for business." She smiled. "Okay. Do what you need to do." I watched her face carefully. Was that relief I saw in her eyes? Was she already planning how she'd use those 4 days? Monday morning came. I packed a bag, made a show of it, kissed Jessica goodbye at the door. Sophie was at school. I drove away from the house, made sure Jessica saw my truck leave. Then I circled back around, parked at a friend's house 2 streets over, and waited. I'd booked a room at a Motel 6 about 3 miles from home, close enough to get back quickly if I needed to, far enough that no one would see my truck. I checked in, threw my bag on the bed, and pulled out my laptop. I'd set up the camera so I could access the feed remotely through an app on my phone. I could watch the live stream, see everything happening in my living room. I sat there in that depressing motel room, AC rattling, carpet that smelled like cigarettes and industrial cleaner, and I watched the feed. The living room was empty. Hours passed. I ordered pizza, ate it cold, couldn't taste anything. My stomach was in knots. Sophie got home from school around 3:30. I saw her walk through the living room, drop her backpack on the chair, disappear toward the kitchen. She knew about the camera. She knew what we were doing. She was in on this. At 4:30, she left for soccer practice. I'd arranged for one of her teammates' parents to give her a ride. She'd be gone until at least 8. At 6:15 p.m., I got a text from Sophie. "Mom just texted me. Says she's working late, not to wait up for dinner." My heart started pounding. This was it. At 6:43 p.m., my phone buzzed with a motion alert from the camera. I opened the app and watched the feed. Jessica walked into the living room. She wasn't alone. A man was with her. He was tall, maybe early 40s, wearing business casual clothes, button-down shirt and slacks. They were laughing about something. Jessica set down her purse, kicked off her heels. I watched, my hands gripping my phone so hard I thought it might crack. They sat on the couch. My couch. The one I'd picked out, paid for, spent countless evenings on watching TV with my family. Jessica moved closer to him. They started kissing. I wanted to look away. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. But I couldn't stop watching. I needed to see this. I needed to know exactly what she'd been doing. They didn't just kiss. It went further. Much further. Right there in my living room. In my house. On my couch. The whole thing was captured in crystal clear 1080p video. Timestamps and everything. I watched for 15 minutes. Then I closed the app. I'd seen enough. I had everything I needed. I sat there in that motel room, in the dark, and I cried. Not just for my marriage ending, but for the betrayal of it all. She'd brought him to our home, the home I'd bought for us, the home where her daughter lived, where we'd had birthday parties and Christmas mornings and family dinners. She'd violated all of it. I texted Sophie, "I'm coming home early. Be ready." She texted back, "I saw the alert. I'm so sorry." I drove home. Took me exactly 8 minutes. I pulled into the driveway at 7:32 p.m. Jessica's car was there. So was a silver Audi I didn't recognize. I sat in my truck for a minute, preparing myself. Then I walked into my house through the front door. Didn't try to be quiet. Let them hear me coming. I walked into the living room. They were still there, scrambling to get dressed. Jessica's face went white. The guy, Derek I assumed, looked like he wanted to disappear. "Mike," Jessica said, her voice shaking. "You're home early. You thought I was in Vegas," I said calmly. "I know what you thought. This isn't what it looks like." "Stop," I said. I pulled out my phone, opened the video app, pulled up the footage. "I know exactly what this is." I turned the phone around, showed them the screen. Showed them the video of what had happened in this room less than an hour ago. Jessica's face crumbled. Derek stood up, tried to say something. "Get out of my house," I told him. My voice was cold, flat. "Right now. Before I do something I'll regret." He grabbed his keys and practically ran out the door. I heard his Audi start up and peel out of the driveway. Jessica was crying now, full sobbing, mascara running down her face. "Mike, please let me explain." "Explain what?" "That you've been cheating on me for months, that you brought him into our home, that you lied to our daughter." "It wasn't supposed to happen," she said. "It just—" "I don't care," I said. "I don't care about your excuses. I don't care about your reasons. I want you to pack a bag and leave. Tonight. Mike, please." The front door opened. Sophie walked in, home early from practice. She looked at her mother, tears on her face, disheveled clothes. She looked at me, standing there with my phone in my hand. She'd known this was coming, but seeing it was different. Mom? Sophie's voice was quiet. Is it true? Jessica looked at her daughter. Sophie, honey. Is it true? Sophie said again, louder this time. Have you been cheating on Mike? In our house? Jessica couldn't speak. She just nodded. Sophie's face twisted in anger and pain. How could you? He's been nothing but good to us. He's been more of a parent to me than Dad ever was. He loves you. He loves us. And you, she choked on her words. You brought some random guy into our home? Sophie, you don't understand. I understand perfectly, Sophie said, her voice cold. You're selfish. You had everything, and you threw it away. Jessica reached for her daughter, but Sophie stepped back. Don't touch me, Sophie said. I'm staying with Mike. I'm not going with you. You can't do that, Jessica said, panic in her voice. I'm your mother. You should have thought about that before you decided to destroy our family, Sophie said. I stepped forward. Sophie's 16. In Arizona, the court considers her preference. If she wants to stay here, she stays here. Jessica looked between us, and I saw the moment she realized she'd lost everything. Her marriage, her home, her daughter, all because she couldn't stay faithful. Fine, she said finally, her voice bitter. You two deserve each other. She went upstairs. I heard her moving around, packing. Sophie stood next to me, and I put my arm around her shoulders. She leaned into me, still crying. We're going to be okay, I told her. I promise. I know, she said quietly. As long as we're together, we'll be okay. Jessica came down 30 minutes later with 2 suitcases. She didn't look at either of us. She walked out the door, got in her car, and left. The house was silent after she left. Sophie and I sat on the porch steps, watching the sun set over the desert, painting the sky orange and pink and purple. What happens now? Sophie asked. Now I file for divorce, get a lawyer. We divide everything up. But you don't have to worry about any of that. You just focus on school, on soccer, on being 16. Are you going to be okay, Dad? I looked at this kid, this incredible kid who'd shown more loyalty and maturity than her own mother. Yeah, I said. I'm going to be okay, because I've got you. She smiled a little through her tears. You've got me. The divorce took 4 months. Jessica tried to fight it at first, tried to claim the video was illegal, that I'd violated her privacy. Her lawyer shut that down quick. In Arizona, you can record anything in your own home. It was my house, my camera. Perfectly legal. She tried to fight for custody of Sophie, too. But Sophie was clear about what she wanted. She testified in court, told the judge she wanted to stay with me, that I'd been her primary caregiver for years, that I was the one who showed up for her. The judge granted my petition. Sophie stayed with me. Jessica had to move into an apartment on the other side of Phoenix. She still works in marketing. I heard through mutual friends that she and Derek aren't together anymore. Apparently the excitement of sneaking around was all it was. Once it was out in the open, the relationship fell apart. I don't care. I never think about her unless I have to. Sophie graduated high school last year. She's at Arizona State now, studying sports medicine like she always wanted. She comes home every weekend, does her laundry, raids my fridge, tells me about her classes and her friends. She still calls me Dad. She still comes to the shop sometimes, helps out with simple repairs, jokes around with my employees. Last month she brought a boy home to meet me. Nice kid, engineering major, polite, looked me in the eye when he shook my hand. After he left, Sophie asked me what I thought. He seems good, I told her. Respectful, smart. Treats you right? He does, she said, smiling. Then he's got my approval, I said. But if he ever hurts you? You'll teach me how to disable his car so he's stranded in the desert, she said, laughing. Exactly. We still have our routines. Still get in and out after her study groups. Still talk about everything and nothing. Still have each other's backs. People ask me sometimes if I regret marrying Jessica. It's complicated. I regret the betrayal, the lies, the pain. But if I hadn't married Jessica, I wouldn't have Sophie. And Sophie is the best thing that ever happened to me. She's my daughter. Not by blood, but by choice, by loyalty, by love. And that's worth more than any marriage certificate could ever be. I'm 43 now. Sophie's 20. We've built a good life together, just the two of us in that house in Ahwatukee. The pool still gets used every summer. The garage still smells like motor oil and work. Sophie's soccer trophies are still displayed on the mantle. This is my family. Small, unconventional, but real. Jessica taught me that some people will betray you no matter how good you are to them. Sophie taught me that family isn't about biology. It's about who stays, who fights for you, who chooses you every single day. I choose Sophie. She chose me, and I wouldn't trade that for anything in the world. The living room has a different couch now. I got rid of the old one the day after Jessica left, burned it in the desert with Sophie's help. We roasted marshmallows over it, turned that betrayal into something we could laugh about. That's what we do. We take the broken things and we fix them. Whether it's a car or a family, the principle is the same. You assess the damage, you make a plan, you do the work. And when you're done, you've got something stronger than before. That's what Sophie and I are now. Stronger than before. And Jessica, she lost the best thing she ever had. Not me, Sophie. She lost her daughter. The one person who would have loved her unconditionally, who would have been there for her forever. She traded that for some affair that didn't even last. That's something she'll have to live with for the rest of her life. As for me and Sophie, we're doing just fine. Better than fine, actually. We're home. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe.